Alright then everyone, hello and welcome to round 2 of the NEF1 Season 5 Championship this week at the Bahrain International Circuit in the country of Bahrain. Sakhir International Circuit, I should say. Back to the usual league format, Q1, Q2, Q3, followed by a 29-lap Grand Prix sprint to the finish line. It's going to be an absolutely brilliant one after the very exciting opening round we had last week around Silverstone, where Gonzo claimed his first NEF1 victory of the season and his NEF1 career. And finally, yet again, I welcome Joe Leishas to the commentary booth with me. Finally, good to have a co-commentator. Good to have you with me, bud. How you doing? I did secure a couple of good points finishes there in, was it season 2, I think it was looking on the up for a little bit, but then sadly had to leave due to reasons, obviously. But yeah, it's brilliant to have you back in the league, mate. How much are you looking forward to tonight on a scale, let's say 1 to 10? Indeed, so just looking at the track we're currently heading on, Bahrain Sakhir International Circuit, personal favourite of yours? Okay, we're having a bit of an issue at the moment where we can't hear you. Let me see if we can sort that out. It's just very low volume, can't he be heard at all? I know with this, mate, you gotta go onto the party screen and enable your voice to be heard. That's a problem. Okay, try just leaving the party and rejoining it again real quick and see if we can get you in. Of course. Okay, so hopefully that's gonna sort this issue out. We'll just notice down a little bit, as I believe SGF1 Gonzo would be the first one out on track trying to set a time at the moment. Potentially just eclipsed by McLaren. Now I believe Gonzo would be the first one to do it. It's currently going through turn 12. One of the trickier parts of the track is heading into turn, I believe this would be 13. Very loose, the rear coming through turn 12. If you perhaps find yourself stuck on the inside curb a little bit, just managing avoid that. Heading into the last corner, just want to make this as wide as possible, basically, not having to do too much turning, opening up the exit, getting a nice run out of there can gain you, well, basically half a second if you get it just right and able to carry enough speed into that. And into the 29s we go. 129.561 is the benchmark time for everyone to beat, as Harry Howard goes 1.4 slower, so does OJ Kush. Probably quite a good benchmark time from Gonzo that. Looking then at Matty MC16 is heading through turn 13 as we speak. And just on the run down into the last corner, see if he can challenge Gonzo as he did last week out in Silverstone. Those two scrapped away a little bit for the lead of that Grand Prix, but eventually Gonzo just managed to take it, and Matty fails to get within the same second of Gonzo. 129.5 for Gonzo, 130.1 for Matty. Finally then, we have another car into the 129s, and it's the other Williams driver off as FLY Jamar Jr. straight into the 129.5s, just a couple of hundreds behind SGF1 Gonzo. It is good to be back in a regular qualifying session. A bit easy to do commentary on this when it's not as crucial, especially in these first 18 minutes as there's 18 cars out on track. It's going to be really good to get into this this rhythm now with Q2, Q3 and see how it progresses. versus forwards. Just gonna check in. Langton, do you have that? Yeah, that little box check for the party audio. That is a problem. That is a big problem, and I would imagine it's gonna take a stream restart to fix that. You're still not coming through. You're gonna need that checkbox to be enabled. The thing is, it could be a Twitch issue as well. It's been an issue previously for us. Think it might take a reinstall on my end. In that case, we'll have to look at it over the course of the week, as Djokovic has gone fastest with a 129.247 to go straight into P1, challenging Gonzo and Jamar up front, and Meki was a contender for the win last week out as well, in there with 129.676. Still waiting for times from both the Red Bulls, but I think one's about to come in. That would be the one of iWatts. Nope. Danny's gonna be first, but he's just heading into turn 10 now. Ever so tricky, but just managed to get it right. Good job, that. Trickiest corner on, maybe even on the calendar, is the run heading down to turn 10. Now through turn 11 and into the oh so tricky right-hander off turn 12. Also a place on the exit of turn 11 where you can gain a lot of time if you get the throttle down early enough. Purple sector 1 according to the game, and through turn 13, nice and solid on the power. And straight down into the last couple of corners we go, as this little right-hand bend that he's just went through is actually defined as a corner apparently. And over the line we go, and he goes fastest out of anyone, does Danny, with 29.1. And we're heading into the 128 territories, and now imagine we're gonna get there by the end of this session. Storming lap time from Danny Vat, and that has put Gonzo and Jamar at a bit of a disadvantage at the moment. Having already done their first run, but I'm sure they're likely to go through anyways. I was then about to come across line, and it's a 29.878. Good enough for P6, challenging Meki and Jamar, just ahead of Matty by about a tenth and a half. Reigning champion then, Guides Zero, still on an outlap, so is Dard 6969, racing for current NEF1 Teams champions McLaren. And then Snocken75 have been promoted to a full-time drive with, has yet to see him appear out on track this evening. Okay then, so sad news, sadly we won't be getting co-commentary for this week. We'll be hopefully having it sorted for next week, which I believe is going to be Saudi Arabia, so it could be good to have some backup down there. Before this week then, it's going to be just me, sadly, as Twitch is not allowing for party audio to be broadcasted yet again for some reason. Here we go then, Guides is heading through turn 8, heading into the run into turn 9 and 10 in just a moment. Oh, so tricky, see if he runs a little bit deep. Don't want to even touch that outside curb because it can very well send you right off track. Because it does a nice job avoiding it. And now heading down to turn 11, turn 12. So, and I do apologize about the stuff that was going on at the beginning of the stream. Hopefully we'll have it sort of next week then. Purple Sector 1 according to the... Purple Sector 2 according to the game. For Guides is 0, same as Danny. So let's see if Guides can improve on that 29.1 and perhaps even be the first driver to nib into the 128s. I can't quite remember how Guides' form around Bahrain was last season, but he's probably improved a little bit over the course of that entire season. Does go fast at 29 flat. Now we're getting dangerously close into the 28. Stad now is going through turn 12. Nice and tidy on the exit, heading into 13, and no drama whatsoever, and onto the back straight. This could also be quite a little bit of an overtaking opportunity, heading down to the last two corners, with the help of a little bit of ERS probably on this game. But DRS trains are quite likely to emerge around this track, I've noticed, in both offline and online races. Just has a tendency to happen as Dard goes slowest with a 132 point flat. Snockin's just about to start his first flying lap of this session as well, and his first of the season as an NEF1 full-time driver. Let's keep an eye on Snockin here. Was mightily impressive actually in his previous NEF1 race. Was his debut driving for Alpha Tauri in that Grand Prix. I believe he finished P4. We'll have a look at the championship in between sessions. So Snockin 75, mighty impressive in his first outing here. Purple sector 1 according to the game. Might we see Snockin be the driver to lead them all into the 128? Going through the gears very, very quickly, heading down to turn 9 and 10. Just getting it right. Beautiful apex there, and nice and comfortable on the exit. Which is what you want to see, and it's looking like a good lap so far from the Swedish newcomer. Through turn 13 and purple sector 2, and if that is correct, we do know that the game can play a bit with us on occasion. If that's correct, Snockin's heading to the provisional P1 slot for Q1. So let's see then, 25, 26, 27, 28, and oh, just shy of P1 there, a couple of hundreds behind Geitze. But Snockin putting on a brilliant performance here in P2 in Q1, and we have a top 3 separated by half a tenth of a second. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to NEF1. Here we go then, Dard is making another run for it. He'll have to improve if he wants to get out of the drop zone, so does OJ Kush and Cool Ice Cube. Not a massive margin up to the drop zone. I imagine Harbour Seal, Darren Style want to go again, so will Harry Howard, who's making his first appearance in NEF1 this evening. So then let's see, Dard was just starting a lap, now heading down into turn 10. Decent apex, has to improve by 2 seconds to get out of the drop zone. There we go, onto the back straight, nice and comfortable through the final corners of sector 2 and first one of sector 3, and heading into turn 14, 15. Looking comfortable as well, nice and easy on the gears, and into the pit lane we go for Dard 6969. Probably wasn't going to be good enough, wants to give it one more go as Gonzo's retired from session in the pit lane, feels comfortable that that lap's going to see him through, and so am I. So OJ Kush now, with his teammate up in P2, is going to be aiming to get out of Q1 here. OJ Kush, then another Swedish driver. It's an all Swedish ass lineup at the moment actually, of Snockin and OJ Kush. Yet to notice that, but full Swedish lineup. So then, down turn 9 and 10, nice and easy, beautiful apex. Just running a little bit too deep on the entry of the corner, manages to sort that out, so it shouldn't be a problem for him. Heading into the final couple of technical bits of the track, and that is what you don't want to do around this place, is ride the curbs too hard, because they're way too high and they will spin you out and potentially even beat you if you're not careful enough. So that is lap over for OJ Cush, and that's his tyres going to be very, very hot indeed, as he has the Aston coming up behind him off... what's that Aston actually? I would imagine it's Djokovic. Yes it is, hunting lap time. Talking about hunting lap time is Cool Ice Cube, and he has 2 minutes to do it as well. Same for Harry Howard and Harbour Seal. As we're approaching the final moments of Q1 here, it's been a relatively quiet session so far. No DNFs, no crashes, just some decent laps. As Matty as well, if you're listening, if you wouldn't mind just going into the chat and having a look at that real quick. As here we go, then Cool Ice Cube heading into the final corners of Sector 2, heading into turn 12 of so crucial to get right. Want to go nothing less than flat here. And into turn 13, no, very close to track limits, just gets away with it. And heading into the last couple of corners. Nice camera shot that as well. Nice and easy on the exit, and this should see him up a position or two. No, because he dives into the pit lane, sacrificing his chance for a run here, because he's not going to be able to get out again. That's qualifying over for Cool Ice Cube. It's going to be nothing better than P17, potentially even P18 if Dart can improve. He's just starting his run now. OJ Kush is in the pit lane, Cool Ice Cube is in the pit lane, which means Harbour Seal is safe from elimination. Harry Howard could still be at risk. If Dard improves by 1.3 seconds is the margin he has to improve by. Thing to note as well, both Mercedes drivers at the moment on form last week, currently sitting just inside the top 10 and outside. Matty MC on a 130.031, Wigan just a tenth behind him on a 130.124, down in P12. Could prove problematic for both the Mercedes drivers that can't get higher than that. Only 1 point being secured as things stand if this transitions over into the race. But just looking at the caliber of driver that we have above inside the top 10, yeah, it's going to be rough for anyone to breach that top 10 probably. See if Dard could even potentially do it here, coming from P18. It is that close. 2 seconds is the margin to be in the top 10. But qualifying has ended, checkered flag is dropped, and Geitz is most likely to finish this session up front. Well, someone snatches it away from him at the death. I believe Jamer's just about to set a time that's been invalidated. Doesn't count for much. So then, crucial lap for Dard is he's 6 tenths down, but is it going to be enough running through the last corner? If nothing else, this is a track position, and he's not going to be able to get out of that P18 slot. He's going to be lost on grid for Dart 6.9. Cool Ice Cube leaves Bahrain qualifying in P17. OJ Kush just falls short by a tenth and a half to Harry Howard. He's going to be starting in P16. Harry Howard and Harbour Seal then just surviving here at the death of Q1. There we go then, Geitz finished as a session top form from the NEF1 champion. 129.052 was the time to beat. No one did so. Snocken and Danny both got very close to it. 0.98 and 105. Snocken and Danny respectively. Then it's not a long way back to Djokovic. A couple attempts to Gonzo and Jamar. Meki just running behind them. Then we have Wigan, iWatts Hybrid, Matty Snixor, Darren Stahl, Harbour Seal, and Harry Howard are going to go through into Q2, where we're going to see P15 through P11 drop out of qualifying here. Pressure's on. Matty MC, currently sitting third in championship, is going to have to improve on that form if he wants to maintain that over the course of the evening. Just looking at the gaps, there's going to be a very, very close, especially Q3. The gaps behind the top 10, little less gap of time to be decided. But we are in for a brilliant season this and a brilliant qualifying session indeed. So then, looking ahead to Q2, Geitze on top form here. Here we go then, it is unreached territories in this season here at NEF1. We're into a second qualifying session, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time this season since the end of Season 4. Nothing groundbreaking, here we go then. Q2, 15 minutes of qualifying action to decide the top 10 for the top 10 shootout in Q3. We're going to be losing P11, P12, P13, 14, and finally P15. Where the top 10 will advance. Probably in for a couple of surprise eliminations in this one. Looking at the field, I see more than 10 fast drivers. So it's going to be interesting to see who is that shock elimination, or who are those shock eliminations. Darren Style is quick to head out on track here, weaving quite aggressively to try to warm those boots up. Can be a bit tricky on this game, getting those tire temperatures up to an optimal line. And then you also don't want to damage the tires on that outlap as well. So it's a bit of a tricky line. But then, as I forgot to do between sessions, we're actually going to do it just now. We're going to have a look real quick at the Drivers' Championship. And as we can see here, SGF1 Gonzo, after the first round of the season, is leading the way on 32 points over Meki's 26 and Matty's 21. 12 people scored points in the opening round, thanks to the sprint format and the point for fastest lap being allowed outside the top 10 as well, claimed by Snixor during the Grand Prix. And if we're looking real fast at Teams Championship, we see Williams leading the pack there. Mercedes just behind on 31 points, and then not a big gap to Ferrari on 26. So it's going to be a very, very interesting championship this, and see how it looks after the evening has concluded. Darren Style is heading into turn, I believe this is 4, followed by 5, 6, 7, 8, and then 9, 10 is the tricky downhill left-hander. But he's going to be first on track to set time here. Let's get that telemetry gone, and let's get the lap data back up. Everyone's going to be qualifying on soft tires in Q2 because the FIA decided to get rid of the, in my opinion, brilliant Q2 tire rule, which made strategies a bit more interesting, but now sadly that's gone, which means we're probably going to see all of these lads starting on medium tires at the end of this qualifying session at the beginning of the Grand Prix. We'll have to wait and see. Should be a one-stop race, this medium to hards, if it goes by without any safety cars, which I'm not sure if we had any during the opening race of the season in Britain. I know we had a virtual safety car, but I don't know if we had a full one. Darren Stylevan just coming round the final 2 corners now, the final corner and the final bend. And he is going to open up the lap times here with 1:30.175, which is quite rapidly going to be eclipsed, I reckon. Because here comes Meki around the final corner. This driver we're looking at definitely getting into Q3. Just beats it by a couple of hundredths of a second actually. Meki 1:30.111. As Matty goes fastest out of anyone, 1:30.035, and Hybrid improves massively on that. Into the 29th we go. Then we have Harry Howard will be next across the line, followed by I believe FLY Jamar. Here we go, Harry Howard's not gonna set the timing board alight with that time, 1:31.2, and Jamar goes second fastest, 1:29.8. Then we have a whole bunch of cars coming across the line. Gonzo goes fastest out of anyone, 29.057 to equal the best time we've seen so far today. Wigan goes faster than his teammate for the second time of asking in qualifying this evening, 29.903 for the Swedish Mercedes. Then we have the McLaren of Snixor is about to come across the line as well to finish up his first run. What is he going to be able to produce? 1:29.953. Then we have Iwatts coming around the last corner, and he is going to complete the first run of qualifying with 1:44.459. Intense couple of moments there. Kokosbjörn says go hard Darren. Currently sitting in P8, 1:30.175. More competitive lap time than I thought it was going to be at the beginning of this session. We'll wait and see what goes on as we progress later on into this qualifying. Gonzo at the moment leading the field by, well, basically 6 tenths of a second. There's nothing else that can be said about it. Dominating at the moment in Q1. But let's wait until we get these guys out there. Snocking, Gaitse, Djokovic, and Danny's already on an out lap. Starting his flying lap just now. He's going to be challenging up front as well. So then round the first couple of corners, DRS wide open as we're heading down into turn 4. Taking the esports line, trying to make the track as absolutely wide as possible here. And then onto this rather tricky part actually. Aggressive curbing both on the inside and outside here. That outside curb you don't want to touch right before turn 8. Can unsettle you quite bad. You can run right over it, but you don't want to touch it. Same with that outside curb at turn 10. Nicely navigated by Danny DC that. And we could be seeing a purple sector 2 time here. That's how good this lap's been so far. Opens up the entry to 11 and then flat through 12, I would imagine. 7th gear all the way up, probably down into 4th. Then straight up to 5th, trying to get the traction down as early as possible, and purple sector 2. Here we go then to go across the line, and second fastest for Danny DC, just behind Gonzo there, 29.074. And if anything, Q3 is going to be really, really interesting, looking at the gaps between the front runners. Djokovic has just started a flying lap as well. Still probably getting used to the new green car instead of the orange he's been running for the last 2 seasons in Season 3 and Season 4. Two-time straight Constructors Champion as well is Djokovic with McLaren in Season 3 and Season 4. Before that, that record was held by Wigan, two-time Constructors Champion in Season 2 and Season 3. So let's see if that record is maintained by... Well, I guess it'd be Gaitse and Djokovic is in the same team this time. Let's see if either Djokovic or Wigan can solidify themselves as the ultimate team player, perhaps, and secure their their third Constructors' Championship. My English is a bit all over the place tonight. I do very much apologize. Here goes Djokovic then, round turn 13 onto the back straight, and purple sector 2 going to the game yet again. There's a lot of purple sector 2s going around as we head into the final corner. Nice and comfortable on the exit and onto the main straight. And into P1 goes Djokovic, 129.003, and we're ever so close of heading into the 128. Skaitse goes for fastest, 29.221. As we're still waiting for Snokken to emerge as well. Purple sector 2 yet again. It's Snokken, very well could be a purple sector 2. In that number 7 has. Let's see even. Through the final corner, are we gonna see Snokken head into the 128s? If he goes into P1, that's likely gonna be the case. Goes P3, and look at the gaps between P1 and P4. It is less than a tenth of a second at the moment. I am loving regular qualifying this evening. I was going to have to go again with that time. So's Harry Howard, Harbour, Seal, Dernstyle, and Mekki. Matty hanging on a loose thread at the moment in P10. Just 2/10 of a second would seem up in P7, probably safe from elimination. It's hard to judge so far. We'll have to wait probably another 3-4 minutes before we start to see the clear picture of who might be getting eliminated in this session. Mekki at the moment in the drop zone as well, but he is improving by 0.6 of a second. As here we go then, onto the back straight, and into P6 we go. Mekki 29.241, is getting ever closer up in front. Djokovic's left session will get him back in as soon as possible, hopefully. Then we have Matty MC heading out on the lap as well. Don't think it's going to be his last run in Q2, but it's going to be a crucial one if he wants to maintain any momentum into Q3, especially on tires as well. Doesn't want to use up any more tires than he is already. He's only improving by 1/10.5 basically, which will see him up a couple of positions, but nowhere near full-on safety. Here we go then, round the last corner. Back straight as we cross the line. We're not even going to cross the line. It's going to be straight into the pit lane for a new set of boots and one final go at it. Same for Harry Howard. Watts surely is going to gain quite a bit of time in the second sector according to the splits. Or he's had yet another mishap in sector 1 if that was the case on the first run. We shall wait and see. Q2 then is ending in about 3 minutes time. Around the final couple of corners, and he is gaining that time now. Probably had an issue, I would imagine, around turn 11, turn 12. And around the last corner we go. See now if he can get up into the top 10 safe from elimination. Might be his only shot to do so this qualifying. And he gets into P9, shoving Snixor down to the drop zone. Matty goes further down into the drop zone as well, and all pressure's now on the Mercedes team if they want any chance of appearing in Q3 here. Jamar on the run as well is about to end, having to needs to improve a little bit. That was actually just an outlet. We'll be back with him in a moment's time. Here goes Darren Style, needing to have a good run here. Also just an outlap, but the game's just not telling us at the moment. Arbor Seals weaving to heat up those tires. Harry Howard's on an outlap. Gonzo's now retired from session in the pit lane, I think. Indeed, keeps that P2. Should be very much safe from elimination unless the league turns into esports. Wigan at the moment doing everything he has to solidify himself inside the top 10. Here we go then. Coming across the line, and it's going to be a 29.376. Very, very good time. Only about 3.5 tenths off P1. And it's only good enough for P7, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see if Hybrid can bring that gap up even less. Well, it's not going to do it on this temp. Because, well, number one, he half spun. Number two, he's on an outlap. Jamar's going slowly on his fast run. Let's hope Matty's not doing the same. He's about to start his fast run. Last chance then for Matty MC to get out of Q2. Mecky's retired from the session in early fashion, but I don't reckon he's going to be at risk here. Darren Stahl's going to have one more go at it. Harbor Seal is probably experiencing his last run at it now. And he's not going to be aided by that last corner, just getting it a little bit wrong. That could see his chances of getting into Q3, well, basically done for. Harry Howard on the run as well. Harbor Seal up a half a second at the moment. I don't think it's going to be enough. 130.418 stays 14th fastest. Matty MC then desperate to get out of Q2 here into Q3 for a second consecutive race. I'm just bullshitting. He started quite high up the grid last week, but we didn't have a Q3 last race. Here we go then. Snixor just improves by a couple of microseconds, but it's not going to be enough for him. P11 out of qualifying then is Snixor. Jamar probably safe from elimination here, so's Hybrid. Let's even. Matty has to deliver quite a decent lap here. Harry Howard as well is delivering a decent lap, but I don't know if it's going to be enough. Matty MC is delivering a way better lap this time around and should see himself into Q3 with this attempt. It is a 29.1 and straight up into P5, pushing Iwat out of qualifying. Iwat is done for this qualifying session. Darren Style is not going to be able to improve, it appears like. Harbor Seal is not going to be able to improve by the margin he needs, and Harry Howard wasn't able to improve by enough as well, meaning that the drivers eliminated this session. Iwat, Snixor, Darren Style, Harbor Seal, and Harry Howard are out of qualifying. Hybrid just surviving there, actually. Ahead of him is Jamar, Wigan, Meki, Geitze, Matty, Danny, Snocken, Gonzo, and Djokovic. The top 10 separated by 6 tenths of a second. As here we go then. Once again, uncharted territories this season. We're heading into Q3. Top 10 shootout for pole position. The top 10 are separated by 6.5 tenths of a second at the moment heading into this session. Let's see who emerges victorious. Geitze has been looking strong. Snocken's been looking strong. Gonzo's been looking strong. Danny Wiggins been looking strong. Matty showing a strong performance at the end of last session. Can never count Jamar Mekki out in hybrid is dangerously fast on his day. There's going to be a brilliant Q3 that's just about to get started. So then, here we go with SGF1 Gonzo, just in this outlap, first driver to come on board onto the track, as most people are heading out. We're seeing a couple of people staying quite long, to be honest. Hybrid, Jamar and Snocken all staying in. That's a bit of a curious choice in Q3. Perhaps not having the tires to do 2 runs in this session. We'll have to wait and see. All a bit of planning now with these new tire regulations in F1. You kind of have to plan ahead, so you have that set of tires, so those sets of tires available to you in Q3. But then Gonzo is just about to start his flying lap here. As their Q3 is underway, 9 minutes of running remaining. And round the first corner, looking solid so far. And get on the power nice and early. Pick up maybe a little bit of a slipstream from his teammate ahead. Good teamwork there from SFLY Jamar and SGF1 Gonzo. Now he has a clear track ahead of him for the remainder of his run. Jamar timed that to perfection. If he wanted to give his teammate a little bit of a tow, which I imagine he would have. Great team players, SFLY Jamar. Now, downhill, heading into turn 9 and turn 10, looking very, very solid. The arrow's wide open on the back straight then, shuts as soon as you touch the brakes, and heading into turn 11, turn 12, and then finally turn 13 is the first time he's going to be braking up this complex down to 4th gear. Looking very, very solid so far. SGF1 Gonzo onto the back straight and into the last couple of corners. On the main straight then, 125, 126, 127. Is it going to be a little landing on a 128 for the first time this evening? Yes, it will. 128.734 is the time to beat from SGF1 Gonzo, stepping up his game here in Q3. Mech's about to come across the line. Is he going to be able to match it? Not quite. 0.3 of a second off. Then we have Guy to 0. Well, just 10th behind, sorry. Then we have Danny a couple of hundreds off as well. Maintaining the close proximity in between drivers. Matty, 29.6, back to his Q1 and beginning our Q2 form. Not quite up there as of yet. We'll have to wait and see. Djokovic goes fastest out of anyone. 28.567. Now then, Wigan, is he going to be able to do any damage? No, but he goes faster than his teammate. Only good enough P6 though. Second slowest out of anyone who's been completing the lap so far. Jamar's lap is invalidated. Snocken's just started his. So already 4 drivers into the 128s this session. Round turn 9, turn 10, looking solid there from Snocken 75 and onto the back straight. DRS is enabled. Looks quite weird on these new gen Formula 1 cars, but it is what it is. See if that gap in the rear wing actually decreases a little bit heading into F123. Just limiting the power of the DRS ever so slightly. It was well overpowered in real life F1. Here we go then, heading into the final couple of corners then. Braking at the 100-meter board, just behind actually, 75 meters probably. Nice and safe in the final corner, and this is going to be a quick one. It's going to be that quick. It's good enough for P2, just shy of Djokovic's 128.567. J Marvan committed to getting a run in on this set of tires. Gotta watch himself so it isn't the only lap that he gets in though as well, or that it isn't the only chance he is able to lap. It might be smarter for him to come into the pits at the end of this one. Those tires are beginning to get some age on them. Hybrid, I don't think is yet to come out of the pit lane. As Gonzo saying he hates Bahrain. Now how dare you say that about my absolute favourite track on the calendar, mate? It is an absolutely gorgeous track. Here we go with Jamar. Is he coming in? No, he's staying out, and it's going to be a 29.605. Only beating out Matty MC P8 for as well by Jamar. As Mecky's first out on track to start the second run as well. I think that's as far why Jamar letting the Ferrari driver go. A lot of respect between these lads, especially the front runners in Q3 now as well. Obviously they've grown quite accustomed to each other over the course of a lot of seasons, many of these lads. Djokovic has been here for a long time. Danny's been here since before it was NEF1, obviously one of the admin team guides has been here since the mid part of season 3 now. Mecky's been here for season 2, Wiggins been here since before it was NEF1, Jamar's been here for a long time, and Matty, founding member as well. Hybrid joined in season 2, so a lot of experience in this current field. Gonzo joining a bit more recently, Snocken joining a bit more recently. But a lot of experience there as well in league racing, and a lot of pace between the entire top 10 at the moment. Separated by just a little bit more than a second at the moment. 128.5 to a 129.6. Here we go then, Mecky just starting his probably final attempt this session. See might encounter a bit of traffic already as he's coming up to the back of, I believe that's SGF1 Gonzo that he has ahead of him. Let's see what approach he takes. Just lets him go straight away, no drama at all, and Mecky's out there hunting for pole position at the moment. So let's see if he might be able to pull one out of the bag here. Ooh, just goes a little bit deep heading into both turn 9 and turn 10. Still looking relatively fast. That is going to compromise him a little bit in terms of lap time. I don't think it's too bad though. We'll have to wait and see. Here we go then, through the last couple of proper corners before we get onto the back straight in the final 2. Into turn 13, 2 attempts up on his previous run would see him place the back guides and Danny's positions. And it's not far up to Djokovic as well, so let's see if he can get a good run out of the final couple of corners. We could see a new man on provisional P1 here. Solid that for Meki 572. And a cross the line to stay 6th fastest. Only improving by 2 attempts is not quite enough. So, and into the last couple of moments of qualifying here, the second run of Q3 has very much begun now. Everyone's out on track at the same time, as Geitz has got to be careful to deal with this traffic that is now ahead of him. That's going to be a problem for him. He's not going to be pleased about it. But they are obliged to get out of the way. But there we go, Geitz goes fastest out of anyone, regardless of the traffic. 128.523 is now the time to beat for the other Aston Martin driver. Wiggins just starting his lap. Who's going to be next across the line? Is it going to be Aston Martin driver, current number 2, Djokovic. Purple sector 2, according to the game, is going to reclaim the provisional pole position slot. After him, we've got a lot of blue cars coming up. I believe it's Gonzo, Jamar, and then Danny. We'll have to wait and see. Djokovic just coming across the line. Is it going to be provisional P1? Yes, it is, and by a margin. Djokovic takes provisional P1. Gonzo goes P3. Where's Danny in all of this? He's behind Jamar. Where's Jamar going to go? He's going to stay 8th fastest. Danny goes 4th fastest, just behind Gonzo. But Djokovic has a grasp of that provisional P1 moment. Meki's going to be coming into pit lane. No time to start another lap. Matty next to cross line with Hybrid just behind him. Crucial for Matty to extract a little bit more performance out of the Mercedes, or he's going to be starting on the back row, or on the 5th row, I guess you could say, but on the back row here in Q3 at least. Where is Matty going to be able to drag that Mercedes? Is it going to be quick than his teammate here? They're separated by basically precisely 1/10 of a second. Djokovic, 28.2 is the time to beat. Matty not going to get anywhere near it, but it's going to be P5, 28.620 for the Mercedes driver. Hybrid goes up into 8th, 29.484, pushing Wigan and Jamar down into P9 and P10. Wigan just goes ahead of Hybrid though with the 28.906 for good measure, and Jamar is improving, but is it going to be enough through these last couple of corners? Don't count Snocken out as well, who's just started his lap. Let's stick with him a little bit of time. Let's see here, Jamar's coming round the final corner just now. See if he can just find that little bit of lap time to go up from P10. It goes into P9. Hybrid then confirmed in P10 for this Grand Prix. Snocken, is going to be able to improve? Go second fastest with a 128.455. Djokovic, followed by Snocken and Geitz is your top 3. Then Gonzo in P4, followed by Danny in P5. Whew. What an end to Q3, as everything is now over and done with. We can confirm your top 10 is Djokovic, Snocken, Geitz, Gonzo and Danny's your top 5. Closely followed by a couple of hundredths of a second is Matty, Meki, Wigan. Then we have Jamar just behind his Swedish rival, former championship rival from Season 3, and Hybrid just making up the top 10 there. There we can see the gaps as well, very, very close between, well, basically everyone. Biggest gap, apart from Jamar to Hybrid, is Djokovic to Snocken. I think that says quite a bit about the state of the league at the moment. Absolutely brilliant qualifying by everyone participating. Massive props to Djokovic, who is your NEF1 pole sitter for Bahrain. As then, we're gonna go on a couple of minutes of a break here before we get the Grand Prix up and going. If anyone does breach those regulations, a qualifying ban is gonna be coming their way, so make sure to not ready up before admins. Go ahead, in this case, Matty. Meanwhile, we're waiting for the race to get underway, I'm gonna go have a drink of water and just a little bit of rest. before straightening my voice even more, and I'll be back with you in a couple of minutes' time for full coverage of the NEF1 Season 5 Round 2 Grand Prix here at Bahrain. We're going to be going to a quick ad break as well to get the pre-rolls away whilst we wait. I'll be back with you in about 2 minutes. As apparently the formation lap has begun, even though an admin has not given the go-ahead yet. As we do know who readied up as well, and the penalty will be coming their way after this Grand Prix. But hopefully, if anyone driving is hearing this, could you please slow down the formation lap as much as possible so there's no chance we'll miss the race restart due to ads. They're about to end, but please slow down the formation lap as much as possible. As Jamer is just leaving a gap, potentially just trying to slow everything down. But I think the ad break now should be over. Please confirm if that is the case. As it does, if you're just joining us, someone read it up too early. We'll be going a bit earlier than anticipated. But here we go then, looking at your starting grid. Djokovic, Snocken, Tugaitse, Gonzo, Danny, Matty, Mackie, Wigan, Jamer and Hybrids, your top 10. I was just falling short of the top 10, along with Snixor. Darren Stahl and Harbour, having made contact now on the formation lap, have been disqualified. They'll be able to participate in the race anyways, just not parking themselves. Harry Howard starts P15 for OJ Kush, Cool Ice Cube and Dard6969. Here we go, then everyone has now lined up at the back of the grid. We'll be getting those 5 famous red lights underway. As for crying out loud, we can't see them. As I believe it's 5 red lights and lights on, away we go. Djokovic gets away well. So does Gonzo, challenging Snocken immediately. So does Geitze, Snocken falling back 2 positions already. Djokovic has had a good start, protects his lead of the Grand Prix. But we can't see basically anything. This is absolutely brilliant. I've had no time to get everything in order. No big incidents by appearance's sake. Hybrid I was and Darren Stahl have actually made a little bit of contact at the rear. They're back a couple of positions, 5, 4 and 8 respectively. But a clean start up front. Mekki up 2 positions, Jamer up 3 positions, Wigan up 1 position. Matty's lost 4. Not a good start for the British Mercedes driver. He'll be trying to make those up potentially with lunch heading into turn 8. No, but he's going to have a cheeky little look down the inside of Snick, so just letting him know he's there. But not going to be able to make anything too interesting of that. Snick's then's right on back of Danny DC as well. And it appears like Snick's was on the soft tires. Let's just have a look at that. Mostly medium and hards, but one outlier there is Snick's on the set of soft tires, aiming to make quick progress up this field. Not able to do so quite yet though, as Djokovic has broken a little bit of gap. 1.3 seconds the margin to Gonzo. Djokovic, who I believe won here in Season 4 as well, does fancy this track. Meki, right on back of Snocken, who's not had a good start whatsoever. Moves to defend the inside. Meki just hanging with him, tugging into the slipstream. Pulls to the outside, is on better tires as well. Meki, remember that is all going to come into play later on during the Grand Prix. Snocken just staying on his inside. Meki and Snocken make a little bit of contact, and here goes Jamar on the outside of Snocken, and Meki makes it work. Jamar makes that stick. Meki has to go a little bit wide. Might have to concede that position, I'm not quite sure. Jamar takes 2 positions in 1 corner, but Meki's going to be trying to fight this one. Can't. Jamar up in P4. Brilliant maneuver that from the Canadian Alpine driver. Meki losing 1, gaining 1 on Snocken. Snocken losing 2 positions in 1 go here. And now Snicksor is going to be all over the Haas on hard tires, in his McLaren on soft tires. Looking up front, nothing seems to be happening at the moment. Harbour Seals had a good start for Ferrari, making up 5 positions into the points here as well. Currently sitting in P9, Harbour Seal X. Wiggins had a poor start as well now, down a couple of positions outside the points for the Mercedes team as things stand. Williams are having a good one, 2 and 4. Let's see, even Diarra is going to be enabled at the end of the current lap. As here we go, Van DRS should have been enabled by race control. There we go. So let's see now if Meki fancies a little bit of a move on Jamar, perhaps heading into turn 3. Geitz is getting a bit closer to Gonzo, but he's not going to be close enough on this attempt. And Meki's a bit closer to Jamar, but the slipstream around here isn't that powerful. Overtaking around this track might seem easy, it really isn't. So Jay Cush perhaps makes it look easy on Wigan. No, Wigan comes back down the inside. On the fringes of the points is OJ Cush, just lost the rear a little bit, promoting Cool Ice Cube to just have a little look at it. Just thinks better of it. Ooh, as Geitz is right on the back of SGF1 Gonzo now. He wants that P2 place to be able to go after his teammate in a couple of laps time. Geitz at the moment, incredibly fast, and he's outperforming Gonzo, putting the Williams driver under a lot of pressure. Let's see then, 2 tenths is gap as we're heading into the final corner. It could be moved on before the braking zone here for Geitz, using a little bit of battery power. Gonzo moves to defend the inside, but it's not going to count for much because Geitz is going to go flying around this outside. Fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and it's an Aston Martin 1-2 as things stand. See if Gonzo has a juice to fight this one back. Going through turn 1-2, through 3 as well, onto the DRS zone, but I believe Geitz has just broken enough of a gap to have that one secured for the time being. Matty's making moves on OJ Cush as things stand. Trying to move around the outside, but 2 make contact. OJ Cush is forced to just go off track a little bit. That's going to promote Dart into having a look down the inside of Matty. Heading into turn 4, just has think better of and promotes Iwas right at the back of Dart. OJ Cush holds that position. It's Matty from Dart, from OJ Cush from Iwas, all running within a couple of tenths of each other. As here we go, Jay Cush is looking on the inside of Dard here, round the outside of turn 9. Surely gonna have to budge, get stuck on the curb, and he's gonna lose a couple of positions there to Dard and iWatts. Now he's right up for grabs by Harry Howard as well, as Dard's getting passed by iWatts here. Thinks about a move to the inside, just has to think better of it. Nothing able to make it that move so far. Mecky's now getting up to the back of Jamer, and there's a big gap between Gonzo and Jamer for the podium positions. Mecky's going to want to bring that gap down as fast as he can, currently being a bit held up by Jamer here. Let's see if he can get a move on. He has 2 shots to do it. First heading into turn 1, just getting closer, and he sent one opportunistic down the inside. Jamer cuts back through round the outside. Is he going to have DRS though? Coming back round the outside. Mecky just has it. Jamer has the momentum. Mecky has the inside line. He's going to send one down the inside yet again. But Jamer just holds that position. Mecky tries to come back on the exit, but Jamer just maintains that P4 position for the time being. Mecky stays P5. A Scotty T99 is saying go Dard in chat. Having a decent race at the moment is Dard, battling away with iWatts and Matthew. Let's see how that little battle progresses over the next couple of laps. Mecky then still round the back of Jamer. Gonzo is on the back of Geitz still as well. Geitz hasn't been able to shake that particular battle, as Darren Styles having a rough one in last at the moment. P18, 7.5 behind anyone. Oh, Mecky then is getting a good run out of turn 13. Is he potentially even going to challenge into the last corner? It's a bit too far back, but with the helpers on DRS now, surely should be able to get the upper hand of Jamer here. Here we go then, with DRS, but he's just not gaining enough. Doesn't have a lot of battery to play with, it appears like. And that just allows Jamer to stay ahead for the time being. And Mecky just doesn't have anything to use on the exit, and that's the problem for Mecky here. And he might leave him vulnerable to attacks for Snocken. As Danny now is right on the back of Snixor, wants to get that move done as fast as he can. Gap's about 2.5 tenths. Is he going to think about a move into turn 8? No, a bit too far back. So hard tires are a good race tire, but they're not a very racy tire. You can't do a lot on them. Don't fill you with much confidence around this track, actually, sadly. Here we go then, Snocken's getting ever closer to the back of Mecky. Nothing biting so far, but that gap's increasing ever so slightly, and Gonzo has decreased the gap to Geitz further. It's now 8 tenths of a second, and he's still within the DRS zone. Danny's been able to make his way past Nixon. So here we go, around the final corner. Let's see if Snocken can now start attacking Mecky a little bit. DD can, gets a massive run on him. Mecky doesn't have any battery, seems like. Snocken has a lot to use up. Mighty think one down the inside of Jamer, thinks better of it. But he is challenging Mecky at the moment, who tries to hang it round the outside, turns into the inside for turn 2. And outside for turn 3 to just make contact. Snocken has to concede that one. Mecky takes P5. Very close, the battle for those final points as well, or for P11 I should say, between Matty, Cool Ice Cube, iWatts and Dard. Because a couple of seconds up the road is Harbour Seal, and he's sitting quite comfortably at the moment between the two Mercedes. Yet to see any pit stops this Grand Prix, but I'm sure a couple of people are going to be pitting around lap 12-13, probably all the medium runners. No signs of crash safety cars as things stand. As Danny and Styx are battling into turn 11 yet again. Nixor's trying to hang it around the outside there. Need to break it to it. That's a move that's never ever going to work. And it doesn't this time either. Might be able to cut inside though, coming out of the corner. Not quite. Then he moves to defend the inside. Bit unnecessary in this situation, just getting your tires dirty. Let's see if that actually affects performance coming out of the last corner. Ever so slightly, Snixo's right there with him. With the elbows in the ERS now, is going to be able to provide a little bit of a challenge to Danny here. Wiggins right back, about half a second behind as well, looking at this battle with great interest, I'm sure. Would love to be able to get into P7 from his current P9. As Djokovic is breaking away just that little bit, about a 10th per lap as things stand. Gap's now 2.5 seconds. That's still all in undercut range though, so it's not safe at all, Djokovic. Can't rest for a single moment. Harry Howard is now joining this little battle with Dart, Cool Ice Cube, Iwat and Matty. As Wiggin now right in the back of Snixo, pulls to the inside, heading into turn 11, trying to grab the position away. Snixo runs a little bit wide. Wiggin might actually be able to hold this one around the outside. Gets a better run than Snixo, and he's going to be entitled to space heading around the outside here, but he just leaves Snixo enough space there. Harbour Seal picks up the first penalty of the evening, 3 seconds for track limit. Wiggin then up into P8. Very, very brave move around the outside of Snixor heading into turn 13. As Snixor dives into the pits for a new set of boots, I would imagine medium tires. Meki getting ever closer to Jamar here, gap's about 4 attempts. Battery recharge seems to be a problem for basically every driver at the moment though, most people running quite low on ERS. So a lot going on and nothing going on kind of at the same time, being at it for 80 minutes, and there goes Dodd, just having a bit of a slip moment coming out of turn 10. I don't know if he made contact with anyone or if he just lost it by himself. That's him down a couple of positions. Now Hybrid is going to be very, very interested in that. Perhaps trying to get the foot down coming out of turn 13. The guard just gets a better exit and is able to pull away. Tell you what though, Meki's making moves on Jamar into turn 1, down the inside of the Canadian Williams. Turns into the outside and Jamar's just too good at defending that line. Meki's going to have to go again, which he might do heading into turn 4. Not quite this time. Snokken is right there as well. Djokovic, 3 second gap up front. Gaitse 3 seconds behind and 6 tenths behind as Meki just makes a move heading into turn 8. Just outbreaks himself. Jamar comes back at him heading into turn 9 and turn 10. Jamar holding station in P4 at the moment. Gonzo's catching Gaitse ever so slightly, but not enough to make a move. But we are entering territory where those medium tires are going to start going off in a lap or two. Here we go then, coming out of the last corner. Jema v Meki v Snocken. Jema moves to defend the inside. Meki doesn't move to defend anything, and Snocken takes him for a fool basically, and goes right down the inside. Nothing Meki could have done about that one. And into P5 goes Snocken now, gonna be trying to challenge Jamar a little bit better than what Meki did. Hybrids round the back of Harry Howard as well. Might actually be able to make anything work here into turn 1. No, but I'll have another chance at it heading into turn 4 if he can get a run on it, but I don't think he can. He is closing up quite rapidly, but not quite close enough. Once again, staying with this battle is very, very interesting at the moment. Jamar, Snocken and Meki. That's lap 11 out of 29, just above a third way into this Grand Prix, and feels like a long one. Been going at it for 18 minutes now. 11 laps into this Grand Prix. Still no safety cars to be seen. Still no crashes to be seen. Brilliant Grand Prix this so far, as Meki just tries to catch up a little bit to Snocken, who's right behind Jamar, and is now finally going to be able to have a go at the Canadian himself. Jamar moves to the inside to defend. Snocken finds a little bit of space there, pushes Jamar towards the outside, runs a bit deep. That is very, very, very close stuff between Snocken and Jamar. Snocken has to let that one go. Live to fight another day, and that other day is right at the end of this next straight. Snocken, on the second time of asking, manages to force himself past as followed by Jamar, and now Meki's gonna be looking at as well. But Snocken is up into P4. What Meki couldn't do for several laps, Snocken's done his first time of asking. Meki now down the inside of Jamar, heading into turn 8. Just leaving him enough room, just barely. But Jamar holds that position for the time being. Jamar v Meki then is probably the battle to look out for now, because Snocken is breaking away. Gonzo's catching up to Geitze. Geitze is losing time to his teammate, but Gonzo is sticking with Geitze good here, and those tires are now going to be in the crossover period, where hard tires start to become better than mediums. Expect to see some people pitting this lap or next lap. Geitze staying out for another lap. So then DRS enabled. Geitze v Gonzo yet again here. Gonzo looks to the outside, might be trying to do a switchback here, just getting interrupted by the line taken by Geitze. All fair play, of course. As here we go, DRS has been enabled. Jamar's into the pit lane for a new set of boots, and Gonzo is going to be trying a move down the inside of Geitze on what is probably better hard tires now. Has to leave the space, and Geitze is able to come back at him. Gonzo v Geitze heading on to the second DRS zone of the lap between turn 10 and 11. Nothing escalating between the two for the time being. Danny's made his way past Wigan and is now having a look at Meki. Danny going very, very well on those hard tires and takes another position off Meki there. Meki's coming back though. He's on the outside through turn 12. Is not the place where you want to be. Danny just giving him a little bit of a squeeze and takes P5. As there we go. Geitze goes into the pit lane. Djokovic staying out for another lap. Geitze gets 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Is not going to help his cause this Grand Prix. So let's see if Gonzo can capitalize on this. So can Djokovic. Djokovic surely now is going to have to box in this coming lap to not be susceptible to an undercut. It's all kicking off here in the pit lane. Gaitse, Mecki, Wigan and Harbour. Double stack for Ferrari. I would imagine Harbour lost quite a bit of time due to that. Indeed, he did. Now Jamar is going to be picking Wigan and Cool Ice Cube off here on the top faces. Along with Harbour's. Snixor hasn't been able to make the most out of these hard tires. He actually went on a set of hard tires after those softs. I hope he realizes he won't be able to get those to the end. It'll be a mighty drive if he can, but I very much doubt it. iWatts is now lining up guides on those cold tires, different handling characteristics. So here we go then. Djokovic is heading into the pit lane, doesn't want to speed in the pit lane, doesn't. Gonzo is staying out, going for the alternate strategy on the hard tires. Fastest lap out of anyone, 132.243. Is unleashing his true pace here now. Danny on the hard tires as well, some 13 seconds behind him. Let's see what he can do. As it's the ever ongoing battle between Mecki and Jamar this Grand Prix. Jamar still right on the edge of the points for the time being, which is going to turn into points when everyone's made their pit stops. As Cool Ice keeps having issues getting it back into the lobby. Were you able to join off that invite I sent you, or do you need another one? Still a lot of time to get you in, so just let me know. Jamar v Mecki. Mecki comes out victorious this time around. Jamar just a bit too far back to pick up. And we have Snixor and Wigan, fellow countrymen, as well. Battling away for P13 at the moment. P12, P13. So here we go, then Danny DC is coming to the pit lane for a new set of medium tires. So let's see what he's going to be able to do on those. Might have a very, very strong second stint, Danny DC. Gonna emerge quite a way back from the rest of the leaders as well, but let's see if he can make a couple of positions up and score some solid points here. As Matty does some battling with Gaitse here. Gaitse on the fresh new tires. Djokovic just a bit ahead of him. But Gaitse just getting clear of Matty MC, who might be thinking about it heading into turn 8. Cool Ice Cube, I hope you've been able to join. I think that's what that little disclaimer just said. And this is a battle we've seen a couple of times in NEF1 before. Matty v iWatts always put on a good show. We're looking forward to this one in Kota in, say something about 13, 14 weeks. As Gonzo now, 5-second time penalty speeding in the pit lane. And this, at the moment, is all going Djokovic's way, with both his main rivals would win with 5-second time penalties. Also worth pointing out is Mecki, who is now behind Danny DC after both pit stops have been made. Snocken is heading into pit lane. As in all this emerges the Haas of Snocken, who's going to be coming out, thankfully I'm going to say, behind everyone. Getting uninvolved, but there goes Hybrid. Just having a bit of spin. I don't know if he had contact with anyone. I'm sure we'll find out after the Grand Prix. That is disaster for Hybrid then. First spin of the, well, first spin of the race if I'm not mistaken on lap 17, and Jamar gets a free second time penalty for multiple track limit warnings. Just been a bit too enthusiastic about the track limits here. Now Iwat's hunting down Matty yet again for a couple of extra points here. Here we go then, Djokovic with the fastest lap out of anyone so far. It's 1:31.961, as here goes Matty into the pit lane, probably for his medium tires. Potentially even a set of softs if he's optimistic and thinks he can make that work. Danny though is on a brand new set of mediums, and so is Snockenoop at about the same time, so I would imagine that what goes on Matty's car. Yes it is. Danny and Dodd up front in P5 and P6. Dodd yet to make his pit stop in this Grand Prix, so has Iwatts. So has Hybrid. No one else having made theirs. And once again, hello to everyone currently watching stream. Hopefully you're enjoying it as much as I am. Lads are putting on a brilliant show for us tonight, as I believe Hybrid's had another issue. Just falling behind Martin Harbour's Seal there, if I'm not mistaken. J Mars fighting for position, still on track with Meki. Seems to be an ever-going battle between these two. SGF1 Gonzo, fastest lap for the Grand Prix, 1:31.306, trying to capitalize out of every point that he can, and trying to catch up to Djokovic. 10 laps remaining in this Grand Prix. As Iwatts now pits for a new set of medium tires. Snocken on the back of Jamar as well, and he's on the better tires than both Jamar and Meki. Is going to be able to challenge in a little bit of time, I'm sure. Iwatts and Matty are doing a bit of racing heading into turn 4 as well. Is Matty gonna send one? No. What's probably gonna happen soon is the fact that Iwatts and Matty are both gonna play racing with Harbour Seal, who's on older, worse tires, and might not necessarily have the same pure pace as the two coming up behind. Snocken then has been able to make his way past Jamar at a bit of an unconventional place. I'd love to see that one back. Hopefully he'll have a replay for us after the Grand Prix. Matty at the moment running outside the points as well, worth noting, behind Iwatts and Harbour. Harbour is weaving a little bit to try to get Iwatts off his tail, but unsuccessfully doing so. And here we go, onto the DRS straight. Harbour's not going to be able to do anything about this one. It might be had by a certain Matty MC16, who's definitely going to have a look down inside heading into the chicane. does have a think about it. Iwat's is braking all wrong and kind of holds Matty's progress up a little bit. I don't know if that was actually tactical from Iwat's not wanting Matty to stick right with him. Iwat's not going to have a chance to blast away a little bit from Harbour and leave Matty behind. Good thinking that, if that's the case from Iwat's. If that is the case, I'm genuinely impressed. Snockenvan leading Jamar. He's just out of Dard. From lap 20 out of 29, just about to start lap 21. Let's check with OJ Kush how he's doing. Currently sitting in P16, half a second behind Harry Howard debutant. So let's see if he can make a couple of positions up there. Styles had a race to forget down in P18, sadly. He's been there for a majority of it. Here we go, Jamar on Snocken. Is he gonna consider a move down the inside into turn 4? No, thinks better of it. Matty's now been able to get past Harbour Seal and has now dropped out of the elimination, or out of the DRS zone, sorry, off Iwas, and that DRS zone is ever so crucial. Kind of like the draft in NASCAR. Once you lose it, it's very, very hard to stick with. Here we go, Snockenvan on Dard 6969. Shouldn't be an overly complicated move for him. 4 lap old mediums versus 20 lap old hard tires. Dard, he's aiming to get this done instead of soft tires, but how many positions is he gonna lose while serving this pit stop? He would love a virtual safety car right about now. Everyone's still in this Grand Prix, 18 runners remaining. Here we go, Snocken down the inside of Dard, heading into turn 1. Dard isn't going to be able to do too much about that once Snocken takes position. Now Jamar is going to be next to have a bite. It's an almighty run. Dard moves to defend the inside line. I don't think it's going to matter. Jamar takes that position away from him. Dard down two positions in 4 corners. Matty Van P12, 8 tenths of a second behind I Watson, and a further 8 seconds behind, or 8 tenths behind I Watts, 8 seconds behind Snicksaw. Points are looking grim for the Mercedes driver and Snicksaw. Luckily for Snicksaw, luckily for I Watts, sorry, his teammates all the way up in P4 at the moment, scoring the big points, keeping Red Bull in this title challenge. As Hybrid's gone onto sort of soft tires, potentially aiming for the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, which does award points, as Djokovic is 2.1 ahead of the challenger SGF1 Gonzo. It's going to turn 7 seconds when they cross the line. Lap 23 out of 29. As Matty's now been able to make his way past Iwatts as well. So now he's going to be taking off the Snicksaw. It's not an impossible task, 7.7 seconds in as many laps. It's going to be very, very tricky for the Mercedes driver. As Meki's coming under heavy pressure from Snocken 75 now as well. See if he can shake that pressure a little bit. So Snocken's been sticking with him. All three penalty free, Danny, Meki and Snocken. I'm sure Meki wouldn't mind if Danny picked himself up a penalty or two. At the moment, even a 5-second would not do anything. Here we go, and down inside, perhaps heading into turn 1 of Dart from Wigan. Yes, indeed, good move. Meki and Snocken are doing battling as well. Snocken is right on the edge of being able to pull that move off. Round the outside, heading into turn 4. Just making contact, Meki holds position for the time being. Here we go, Snocken makes another attempt heading into turn would be 11. And he makes that work, takes position from Meki and now up in P5 undisputed for the time being. See if Meki can fight this one back. It does seem rather punchy, the Portuguese Ferrari. Was I believe Snocken's had an issue coming out of turn 13. Just having a half or a full spin, and that's him down to P10. Now, is that gonna give him any damage? No, he's just avoided that. He's gonna heat his tires up and he's gonna promote Meki into an undisputed P5. Both McLarens now on set of points in P8 and P9. Dart yet to make a stop on 24 lap all hards. Surely it's time to come in the box soon. So this race has now calmed down a little bit. No real close battles going on. It's turning into a race of attrition and strategy and stamina. Djokovic at the moment is coming out victorious, followed by Gonzo and Gaitz, who's fallen back a little on his previous race rival. Danny in P4, followed by Meki in P5. Catching up to the back of Matty MC. Yet again, we'll keep an eye on that in just a moment's time, but I don't think there's much else to keep an eye on right now. Wigan's getting a little bit closer to J-Mark, perhaps about a second. We'll be able to get that down before the DRS section zone. Doesn't manage to do so, and he'll stay behind for another lap. I was done on Matt. The gap is still 0.8 of a second. It's quite a far away to start thinking about a move, but Iwatts is getting ever closer. Dart now finally boxes for a set of what would soon to be soft tires to go at least for that fastest sprint lap. I reckon he did just wait too long though, because he's not going to have a lot of time to really well spend those soft tires unless he's going for the fastest lap point. We'll wait and see. He's not going to be catching up enough to score any points at this Grand Prix. Lap 26 out of 29. I believe we're out of safety car availability territory. We might be heading towards the first Grand Prix in a long time. We've seen no DNFs. Let's pray. Here we go, lap 27 of 29, 2.5 laps to go, just over 3 laps actually. And Iwatts is chasing down Matty for that final points paying position. Matty's just been able to grab himself a hold of. He's catching up to Snockum, and not by as much as he would have wanted. As Wiggins right on the back of as well by Jamar here. Jamar being involved in absolutely everything tonight. Now he's going to have to deal with Wigan 71, who's not a slow driver by any stretch of the imagination, leading his teammate at the moment for the first time in quite a long time. I think is it that Wiggins leading his teammate. So brilliant opportunity for Win this to cement his place as potentially even number 1 driver in Mercedes. We'll have to wait and see how it goes. Just unable to get everything working properly so far as Wiggins and one. Jamar still holding station. Meanwhile, we have Snocken right on the back of Snixor, and I was now right on the back of Matty MC, within striking distance for the first time in this stint, if I'm not mistaken. The gap's about 6 tenths of a second. Has to get that down before the next aero zone though. But Matty gets a good exit coming out of 13 and just gets it up a little bit. Wigan here is going to be growing desperate soon. Lap and a half to go as Jamar just makes a little bit of a mistake. Wigan has to take avoiding action. Jamar very close to losing that P7 position there. Now is Wigan going to tackle this Grand Prix any different than Jamar? He'll have that position on penalties regardless unless he makes a mistake. Just racing for pride at this point. The gap from behind from Snocken is basically non-existent, and he's not going to be catching up to Gaito Gonzo. Talking about the leaders as well, not a lot has happened. Djokovic is in the lead of the Grand Prix by 1.88 seconds, but now he's had an issue, and that's going to allow Gonzo to start thinking about a move perhaps, but the 5-second time penalty is going to be too much, I reckon. Dart's at the fastest lap of the Grand Prix so far, down in last, but he has slapped on a set of soft tires. Last chance, last lap for anyone to slap on soft tires. Let's see if Dart can maintain that fastest lap point now. Gonzo's fallen back on Djokovic again. I have no clue how that happened. But on lap 29 out of 29 now then. Where's Iwatts? Where's Matty? Iwatts still behind, unable to pull a move off. Wigan on Jamar is now closer than he's ever been before. DRS has been enabled. Final time to go down this straight. Wigan opens up that rear wing, gets an extra couple of kilometers an hour worth of drag, sends it down the inside. He's going to be able to hold it nice and neat and force Jamar out of this one. Forces Jamar potentially onto the escape route. I'm sure we'll have a look at that in just a couple of minutes, if it is indeed submitted. But Wigan at the moment holding station in P6. It's taken the position from Jamar. Now then, as it must be said as well, this man has driven an absolutely phenomenal one. We haven't seen much of him. That's usually a sign that it's been a superb drive. He's taken a little bit of pressure from Gonzo and Gaitza, taken pole position in qualifying, the first one in regular qualifying this season. The former NEF1 champion is on fire here under the light skies in Bahrain. Djokovic takes P1. Gonzo is going to be finishing a distant P2, followed by Gaitza in P3, which might actually turn in to P4 because Danny does not have that time penalty. He's going to be taking his first podium of the season. Danny finishes up the podium. Meki takes P5, followed by Wigan in P6 and Jamar in P7. Snocken is going to be taking P8 after the earlier spin. Then Snixor is going to grab a couple of points in P9, followed by Matty in P10. Jamer losing a couple of positions to Snocken there. Iwatts takes P11, just shy of points on this evening, as Harbour Seal is going to be coming across the line then to take a P12, which I believe is his career best finish so far. It's been a good race from Harbour Seal. Just consistent, doing what he has to do, and those points are going to start coming quite soon. Harry Howard in his NEF1 debut is going to be finishing an unlucky number 13 that previously belonged to Meki in that AlphaTauri. Decent debut from him as well. Cool Ice Cube being in AI for a little bit during the Grand Prix, compromised by that. P14, by OJ Cushion P15, Darren Stahl in P16. Then we have Hybrid, one loss across the line in P17. Then Dart 6969, sadly unable to get a decent result today. He's going to be finishing alone, P18. But then, to summarize this Grand Prix, it's been an absolutely thrilling one. It's been a brilliant drive from Djokovic, just maintaining cool head throughout this Grand Prix. And also must be said, a brilliant drive from Danny to kind of get his podium a little bit out of nowhere. Quite invisible for most stages of this Grand Prix as well. Usually a sign that it's been a very good one. Just gotten those moves done when he has to. Good on strategy. And Danny does take his first podium of the season and trying to cement a championship challenge. But at the moment, all eyes are on SGF1 Gonzo as he extends his championship lead. But then, ladies and gentlemen, there we can see your final race result. That is Djokovic taking the Grand Prix win around Christmas time over SGF1 Gonzo. Danny DC, Gaitse finishes in P4, followed by Meki in P5. Wigan having a good result in P6, outscoring his teammate by quite a margin for the first time in a little bit. Then we have Snocken in P7. Jamar finishes P8 after the penalty added on. He lost the position to Wigan on the last lap and Snocken over the line. Snixor takes 2 points in P9, followed by a lone point for Maddie in P10. Fastest lap point this evening goes to Dar down in P18. 1:30.812. But then, ladies and gentlemen, that is gonna be it for this round 2 event around Bahrain for the last race before Christmas time as well. It's Christmas cheer for Djokovic. Christmas in just 2 days for all of us Swedes, obviously 3 days for the British people. I wish you all a very Merry Christmas. Once again, congratulations to Djokovic, Gonzo, Danny for the podiums. Been an absolutely thrilling one. I hope to see you all next week in 7 days when we go racing around the streets of Saudi Arabia. But until then, have a very Merry Christmas indeed. We will see you in 7 days for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. We'll see you then. Until then, stay safe, have a good one, Merry Christmas, and peace out.